And we are live in this post Mother's Day podcast. I hope we all remembered, or yeah.
Get your mom a lot
Anyway,
of flowers and chocolates, donuts. She's your mother.
She's your mother.
Give her flapjacks, Polly.
Unless it's like a mother George that deserved to be made up fun of by George Carlin, but that's said.
all
Yeah,
right, but
pretty much.
join me again, I guess, going by random Skype order. Carlos.
Yo, good Middle Gator here to tell you, doing reactions, doing a lot. We're just going to be walking around, waddling around, and being a lot. Ah, hey, how, ho. We're just being Gun Metal Gator here. Why, oh, what do we do with the yellow hint? Just eat them up.
It's rap week, if you didn't know.
Yay. Yay. Nice.
All right, next up, Jenn.
I may be first. I may be last. I may be actually having a bit of a brain freeze because I've lost all sense of time and space. But I am first and always Jenn. Hello.
Or where's your rap, though?
Woo! Oh wait, where's my rap? Where's my rap? Okay, here we go. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. There.
Okay.
Can't ever go wrong with a classic.
Nice.
That was what I could think of on the fly.
Yeah. That's really good.
But once again, and as I say again, you can never go wrong with a classic anyway.
It's true. I'll consider that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like, no, my logic is sound.
Then next up, second day.
Hi.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Seconds back with my brand new invention, pinions. Grab a hold of me tightly. Reviews are flowing daily and nightly. Will they ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the light and I'll glow. Wait, that's Daylover's power. What am I saying? I don't know where that came from. Deadly. They were the speakers and boom, she's glowing. I think that's poisonous mushroom. Dead.
Ah! God, it's slow. It's
You win.
slow.
You win. You win. Second wins.
Yeah, second wins.
You win. You win. You win. Second is the win is the OG. Is the winner of this rap battle.
To the extreme, I rock a mic like a man do. Light up the stage, I want to bump like a man do.
Woo!
Boy, I only have so much of that one memorized.
And here's Daylover. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Perfect. It's a tag team. Back again. Check it, direct it, let's begin. Party on, party people get. Oh, I lost my train of thought again.
Ooh, she lost the flow.
Welcome to 24-bit rap battles.
Boy. So that was that.
It's not just second day, it's the second day tag team.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a...
Boy, see, I'll have to study some tag team rap partners.
Mm-hmm.
Like Romeo and Juliet. On guard, thou artless, beetle-headed flaxwench, the only insult you have thrust upon me is thine stench. Why don't you twist upon the nuts? I hear you're good with a wrench. The dismal state of your rap should be a federal offense. That's where Juliet comes in.
Shouldn't have quiet because they're dead.
Boy, if you don't want to take the mic, just say so.
You gotta pass the mic second.
That happens at the end of the rap.
Oh. I jumped ship. Or the balcony in this case.
Boy,
The best.
boy, we better stick moving before we drown in day puns.
Yeah.
Day one-liners.
Uh-huh.
Dayliners.
This is the best ever.
Dayliners.
Dayliners. That sounds like
Yes.
something.
Sounds like Dyliner.
Mhm.
Dyliner shining in the light.
Dayliners like eyeliners.
Oh, dayliners. I'm making my
no.
own
Daylight
eyeliner.
falling, daily and nightly. Never stop, yo. I don't know.
Oh my
Start the
god.
react, or I'll blow to the extreme. Yeah. Take the mic and do something.
Oh, wait, here's a good one. Here's a good one. A Corona and palm trees. A Corona and calm seas and a balm breeze.
And
Well, there you
Corona and a disease. I mean,
I'm talking about the beer.
Take it there.
Not the
oh.
I'm talking about the beer, not the face.
Yeah, you can't bring up that beer anymore without tying it back.
Unfortunately, you can't. Oh wait, here we go. Here we go. I got it. Okay. A Corona and palm trees. A Corona and calm seas and a balm breeze. Not like the disease, but make you sit back and give yourself a big squeeze, 'cause life is sweet. G.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, thank you. For a minute, I was
Wiki,
like, and for a minute, I was and crickets.
Yeah.
and then Dave was like, "Oh, nice." I'm like, "Oh, wait, somebody likes it. Never mind."
Yay.
Oh, well done.
Wiki.
Yay.
That's easy. That's easy. That part.
I need to take a picture of. We have a retro shark, and sometimes we will make the in what's that in joke me and second with like it goes wiki because it's so retro.
Oh, yeah, I'm playing with
Oh
more
my
stuffed
God.
animals since I married Daylover than I have in about 15 years.
Definitely a lot more.
Boy, what I was
cuteness
doing
has been
15 years
added.
ago was a long story,
Yeah.
but boy,
Mm.
yeah. I've mastered lots of puppet voices. I can do the retro shark, the friendly spider that likes to hug your face.
Mhm.
It sounds like a face hugger. That actually sounds like a face hugger from Alien.
I was thinking about getting a face hugger once, but I was like, no, that's a kind of a creepy.
Gosh, that's so
teddy.
creepy. Like, gosh,
The
that's
mini
so freaking
Cthulhu
creepy.
voice.
I like the spiders, like the spider I got from.
What does a mini Cthulhu sound like, second? What does a mini Cthulhu sound like?
Hey, do not tell me I am cute. I am the Lord of Darkness.
That works.
Mm.
Now I have to wonder what that's going to sound like on helium.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I would
Helium
think
Cthulhu.
it because it was like a tiny thing, it'd be cute. It's supposed to be like all cute and everything, but because of comedy, it would be cute if it were tiny and it had this like that voice like you just had, second. Like I wonder what would be funnier.
Yeah.
You
Wonder
do
where
have
it
little
goes. Me
sharks.
trying to go low with my voice on helium.
You
I
have
just-
little
I-
sharky voice.
I could see what that would sound like. I wonder if that would be hilarious.
I wonder if it would just sound like a voice.
Yeah.
Or maybe I could just record it and then just play with it in Audacity and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Like I made mine sound like a demon once, and it was the best ever.
This is where these subjects go, right?
Yeah, this is exactly where they go. I mean, where we go, we don't need roads. Roads? What are roads?
Hi. No, all we need is vibes, bro.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Mm.
Oy vey. So, on the tough subject matter today.
So yeah, the subject today. I guess if no one's mentioning anything, our Blue Lock episode is currently out in a week. Or it's currently out this week.
What is?
Yeah, the potato.
The Blue Lock React episode that we did.
Oh, I heard blue lights.
Hi, that is true.
Yep,
So-
I seen a notification when that dropped.
Yeah.
Let's see. 4 days ago.
What's it called? Blue Lock?
Yeah, Blue Lock. Yeah,
The soccer
like,
anime we reacted to.
Oh, that's right.
yeah, like
You're in
just,
mood.
yeah, just trying to like see like if it got any traction or not. I mean, it feels like at times like my videos don't really get much traction and barely really get advertised.
Boy. So, on that note, though, are we starting this one with the topic or with what we've all been up to lately?
What we've been up to, but this is sort of a recap of what we've been up to, then I'll go into a
Okay.
few news stories.
Okay.
Most of the
Well-
news stories have been is basically just continuations. What we've been up like what's this? Not even really continuations. Just a lot of the news that's going on right now is just sort of like ongoing stories,
Mhm.
like
Mm-hmm.
Disney and DeSantis are like suing each other, and now investors are suing Disney because Disney Plus is like catching on fire. So
when we
basically,
get to
Disney
that-
lawsuits all around.
Well, this is everybody's just so happy.
Mm.
But
Yeah. Thank you. Everyone's so happy. Oh, babe.
jeez.
Is it me?
Well,
Is it me?
Daylover.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay.
No, go. You go ahead.
Well, let's see. Otherwise, Daylover and I have been on our own media couples binge. Up with went and saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
What you guys
Daylover's
think of that?
request.
What you guys think of that?
Oh,
I think I ended up liking it more than Daylover, ironically.
Yeah.
Wow.
definitely,
Played
yeah.
more Dungeons and Dragons.
So I maybe I went into it with a little bit too high expectations or wanted it to be like something else. I don't know, but maybe I have to watch it again and just
Daylover, I say Day, watch the 90s version that they tried to do first, and then watch the new one. And then watch the new one. And then watch the 90s one with Jeremy Irons first, and then watch the new one.
Funny enough, I've not watched that, so I might just do that.
If you must, but
I would
going
say
to watch it without you.
you know what I would say give it I would say watch the first one, and then I think from what I've heard it'll make you appreciate this one more.
Well, this one felt like a good game of Dungeons and Dragons, like having to improv and like just these ridiculous yet creative solutions that solve the problem and playing off each other, like getting to play up the characters and have a grand old time when things go hysterically wrong or when they go super right, and those moments when in spite of itself it feels like you're creating Oscar level writing for a moment. And
Oh yeah.
it's like your own personal character arc. You're like, well, I feel so much triumph in this moment. This was perfect and well won, and such, and the spells and the imagery and the comedy, and I don't know. I felt like it got the job done, but I mean, I guess Dave was looking for a little more.
I'm surprised it's gotten the positive press that it's gotten.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes good comedy adventure can do that. Like,
I guess when it's done right.
Yeah, like a reliably well done hop, skip, and a jump adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Guardians of the Galaxy vibe they managed to put on it. I can almost see why it got not first Guardians of the Galaxy good reception, but heading darn close to it. Like it's like to the point where they'd make a great double feature.
Ooh. So it's got the feelings of like watching a Guardian of the Galaxy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that is impressive. That's not an easy vibe to capture, and especially with D&D.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, it's not the toughest of connections. Like when you're playing with your good friends, I mean, you're gonna come out a ragtag bunch, but I mean, there's gonna be some bonding in the group and all that, and you're gonna have bonds forged and like between particular characters and such.
Oh, no doubt.
Hmm.
No
But
doubt.
actually, that reminded me, which I feel so bad, I forgot to really mention something I've been up to. Because the movie I've seen before, I think I mentioned the Super Mario movie last time.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think of that?
But it was good, just sort of like a visually good film. Not the best story writing and all, but like it's probably one of Illumination's best, at least visually, definitely best.
Mm-hmm.
But that reminded me, like a movie I seen, like I think a week or two later, is I actually was able to get tickets for Suzume.
Oh, okay. How does that compare? Like, I asked a friend who went and saw this. Oh, it's so great gushing over this. Like, how does this compare to the other anime movies they've managed to sneak over here and release in America? And she wrote back to me, I loved it. Like, that's exactly what I asked.
Oh.
I mean, it was actually.
How would you say, DC?
I mean, I haven't seen Your Name, but like of these films, I've seen this is really good, and like I'd say it's actually one of my favorite anime films I've seen recently in theaters. It's really insane much, but I mean, I really just said it is. I really enjoyed the experience. I'm glad I went because it's stunning. I don't want to really say much about it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the romance aspect was a little forced in the movie, but the way it visualizes certain things, like how it visualizes the concept of basically natural disasters, is like just bloody brilliant. So yeah, it's like a weird. It's hard to describe. Like I don't want to describe it because it would involve spoilers. But like it is a very unique film.
Okay.
Ooh.
Let's see. Interesting. Well, in other news, Daylover and I have continued after a pause our James Bond trek.
Oh, how's that going?
Yeah, I think I mentioned the last one I mentioned was like where they tried to switch over as a bit of an experiment to Timothy Dalton, the Shakespearean actor who read the books closely and decided that he was going to give us the guy from there, the guy who's seen a lot of stuff and like indulges in so many vices because he could go over the top or because he could die at any moment and all that, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, what I said about the last movie, the first one we saw of his and the one we were on, I think the last time we brought this up, was that, okay, well, one, if you want to do that, have all sorts of, like, neat, close-to-the-ground filmmaking and just, like, quiet scenes and, like, yeah, roaming the empty streets and the sedate, all that, all right, then you probably shouldn't give him a car with a laser that cuts other cars in half. And shoots missiles, and drives around on ice, and drives into sheds, and then takes the whole shed with it, so it's like driving a shed around, and okay, yeah, there was a lot of wonky stuff and zigzag filmmaking. It felt like they were trapped between the previous guy and this guy, but also, unlike Daniel Craig, who I felt did the same thing better in Casino Royale, like dig into the book James Bond, this James Bond was still, like, despite coming across like, okay, he'd seen some things and he was more serious, he was still basically a good person, a Hollywood hero. So when he didn't have like particular things to act off of, which was most of the first movie, he kind of came across as just a secret agent. He was like, of course he's a tough guy, of course he's seen some stuff. So I don't know, I didn't think too much of it. The second movie, it seemed like they tried to compensate for that by, like, basically making James Bond's Taken. It was like they take one of the long-running sidekicks of James Bond and marry him off so they could have the bad guy he put away escape jail and completely wreck him and his whole marriage. Just hard. So then James, in turn, can resign to go after this guy personally as this vendetta. And I mean, there it was like, okay, I mean, that gets pretty sad, pretty intense, and pretty gritty. And you're kind of glad that this guy, Timothy Dalton, was the guy you were with at that point, because he felt like a very strong, serious presence with a lot going on under the surface, who you were glad you were doing this all with. Like, he needed a movie like this, I think, to bring that out.
Ah.
And then the public said, well, this is the 80s, so we hate that you went that serious with James Bond. Where's our happy wives don't get killed movies and long-lasting characters don't get maimed and taken out of the series? Unfair. So Timothy Dalton promptly got kicked, and that's where Pierce Brosnan came in.
Ah.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan is just like super suave and charming, and he doesn't come across as like as tough as Sean Connery, but yeah, he almost comes across as even more devil may care. But I'm worrying that they actually never made like his definitive movie, you know?
He
Like
seemed like to me he was kind of the first time I saw Bond.
Same.
My first Bond was Pierce Brosnan. To me he really epitomizes what Bond is. He's like he really epitomizes what Bond is. I mean, Sean Connery did it too in his time, but also Pierce Brosnan. Those are like two of the ones that really did that really just just played into who Bond is, who James Bond is.
Yeah. Well, actually, apparently the book James Bond is more like Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. Like, he's angrier. Right. He's not even necessarily a good person. Like, but
there's less happy moments with him. Like with Connery, it was more of a. With Connery was more, there was like the smirk and the, as you said, devil may care attitude. Same with Brosnan. With Craig, it was definitely like serious.
Yeah, like
I never saw him smile or smirk or anything. He was always like super serious, but not quite angsty, but serious.
Yeah, if you want like the book James Bond, I think Daniel Craig and Timothy Dalton are the closest you're going to get. If you want the iconic like James Bond in the popular public conscience, then yeah, Sean Connery and Pierce Brosnan are probably who you go to. Like, to a lesser extent, Roger Moore, but his James Bond is and I quote, a lover, not a fighter. So he is almost just like 100% charm is what he goes on. And like his James Bond movies, he's happy to take them like real light. And so like a lot of the things Austin Powers was making fun of are from his era, or at least really went as like Austin Powers worthy as they did in his era.
Yeah.
Which personally, I think like until the last couple of movies where they started doing it like a weariness, like, no, it's supposed to be silly or something, like until they got to that, it was actually pretty fun. Like, they put a lot of muscle power into his movies, and it was like, it never got quite to self-parody because it was like espionage with panache, I tell ya.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing. Him, Craig, even Tim Dalton in his James Bond's Taken, I felt like, all right, their James Bonds have a movie you can stamp. It's like, that's what these guys did for James Bond. Pierce Brosnan, I like his first one is usually considered his best, and I have a feeling I'm going to end up agreeing. It's a very intro one. It feels like a very 90s James Bond movie that just like, all right, let's just have a grand old adventure, and Pierce has a chance to strut his stuff. Great. But like, now we've seen his next two, and it feels like they're like working towards something, and then they sort of fade out. Like his second one, like it goes from slam bang energy to maybe relying on the action scenes to carry it in part to pinning everything in like its final action scene where it unfortunately saves its lukewarm worst for last. And it's actually trying to do a stunningly relevant media plot there, but like, I don't know, that the villain just sort of, like at the end of the day, the villain just sort of gestures in that times like, yes, we're going to use the media and their totally fair and imbalanced coverage, wink, and then like, I don't know, it's like he more threatens to bring that into play than like actually brings it into play. And the way James gets him, like you're waiting for him to turn that around on him somehow, and instead he just kind of kills him with a line to stick it back to him. Like, yeah, you wanted to start World War III? Well, you forgot the number one rule. Give the people what they want. Kicks him into the death device.
Wow.
But I don't know, like, that was the closest they came, but yeah, as it goes on, like, all we've got left is Die Another Day, which really does not have the best reputation. I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna walk out of this feeling like Pierce Brosnan never got his definitive stamp on the Bond movies. I feel like he himself is the stamp, or at least as close as he's gonna get, because I don't know, I feel like he doesn't have his movie that, like, that's it. That's everything Pierce Brosnan's James Bond is.
But I have to say, I think Die Another Day had one of the best sword fights I've seen in cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't gotten to it in our rewatch yet. It's the only one we have left, but it is the first James Bond movie I ever saw. Right. So you better believe I remember that sword fight.
Oh, so you did see Die Another Day, right?
Yeah, but when I was 13, I'm like,
okay.
The things people criticize about it, I'm like, oh, I guess that happened.
A little tidbit about that scene, and I didn't know this until later when I watched the scene again. Keep an eye on the guy that he's fighting in that one scene, the redhead gentleman. His mother is somebody very famous.
The Bond villain.
Yeah, the one he's fighting in that fencing scene that turns into a swords fighting scene.
Yeah.
The gentleman he's fighting. The actor who plays him, his mother is somebody very famous.
Let's see, Toby Stevens.
I believe it is. Yes, I believe that's him. Yes. Yes. From what I remember, I believe his mother is really famous. And when I found out who it was, my jaw dropped. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, I can see it.
All right. Well, now I've got to know. But otherwise, we started Batman the Animated Series because I realized I only ever watched that when it was on. So, yeah.
I just saw my favorite Joker episode.
The animated series, the birth of where Harley Quinn is born.
Yeah, although like the first few episodes, she just kind of enters and isn't even always there. She's just one of the Joker's henchmen almost.
Right.
No, it is interesting looking because he was, as I recall, originally just supposed to be like a one-off character gag, like a character pops out of a cake, and then they just liked the performance so well, they're like, oh, let's just bring her back.
She was actually inspired by a soap opera actress who actually kind of dressed like her in a fantasy sequence, and then she actually originally was the first voice of Harley, and then later on, Arlene Sorkin, I believe that's her name. I think it's I believe that's the name, and then later on, Tara Strong took over.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, certainly a good lineup there. I will say, I think, like, its status as the de facto greatest Batman might have robbed this show of, like, proper appreciation of what it is. That, like, seeing at least, I mean, we're somewhat deep into it now, like, coming up on 40 episodes. Like, this is a very within its means underdog scrappy show. Like, it still frames when it wants to linger on something to make an impression, like, okay, well, we don't have, like, the budget to do, like, like Disney film level animation or something. Like, let's just draw the most handsome image we can and, like, scroll up it for a second or hold on it, or, like, so the shots, there's a lot of different styles in there. Some shots look almost anime-esque, some shots look almost Looney Tunes-esque. The reimaginings of these characters that, like, they have to make a lot stick for their new visions of them in a short span of time. Like, some of these episodes feel like very basic, bare bones plots. Like, even Mr. Freeze's iconic debut, he felt pretty basic, but I mean, there's enough, like, okay, this is what Mr. Freeze is now to really make it stick. Like, damn, this is a tragic character.
Oh, totally.
And
Freeze was one of my Freeze was is still one of my favorite, like, Batman villains, because he's just darn it all so romantic.
yeah, it's pretty true. But I mean, yeah, like the stuff they have to cram in, like a lot of their 2-part episodes, I felt were like a notable step up because they felt like more what the series would do if it had everything its way. And Mark Hamill trying to give him the sentimental favorite points, like, you know what? No, this is the best Joker. I'm like, I mean, he, if you take him in his isolated qualities, the trollishness, the comedy, the zaniness, it's like, okay, I mean, those are good, but I mean, I feel like, it's not that no other Joker has ever made like a bigger splash, bigger impression, because, like, I mean, let's face it, Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix are going to be the ones people go to there. But Mark Hamill, looking at this, like, I'm like, you know what? Mark Hamill, really, no sentimental points needed, is kind of the best recurring Joker. He's the best ongoing Joker, because you realize as this goes along, there's a certain, like, rhythm to it, like, of how these guys show up. Like, you have your Batman uncovers a long simmering conspiracy, but you also have somebody is just mad about this one-off thing and tries to enact a little revenge, and then sticks around when Batman has now killed their revenge crush.
He's kind of like Mark Hamill. I always maintain he kind of set the baseline for Joker performances. He's one of those people. He's one of the people in the quote Joker lexicon that kind of set the baseline for others to follow.
Mm-hmm. Well, like
in voice performance, at least,
Yeah, well, like they all have their certain thing. Like Poison Ivy feels like, okay, geez, she has high aims here, and like, oh damn, what has she cooked up this time? And like, Penguin feels like, he's the one who feels like, okay, he's come to take another shot at the title. What's he got? Two-Face is the one that feels especially brutal because, like, yeah, he has that personal connection to Batman. And Joker is absolutely the one who feels like, a frequent but just, almost meant to be recurring bit of just chaos. Like, his Joker, I mean, like, he wants to kill Batman, but it's like, it's almost like he comes when a thought has crossed his mind, like, what if I messed up the day like this? And it's just like this complete absurdity and silliness and just chaos. It's like, it feels like this show is having a lively, colorful day whenever he shows up, but it's like, that's just one of the things that comes back into Batman's life, and like a very could only be the Joker kind of a thing, that like, as opposed to what this grand collage of what Batman's life is.
Right.
Riddler, or at least somebody pointed out that Riddler should be almost the one who doesn't get caught. Like, oh boy, okay, well, like, this time what's come around the wheel is the guy who actually might be Batman's mental equal or even superior, that he has to, strain and thrash his mental limits just to thwart the grand mastermind plan of the day and not catch him, or at least, like, maybe on a grand occasion he finally should, but apparently Riddler was just so hard to write for that he only showed up 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it's definitely been an experience, and like, I almost think that, we've, like, it might be, I'm of 2 minds. On one hand, it's hard to be better served than being like, canonized and, hailed as like the best for all time. But I mean, I think that, like, from a proper appreciation standpoint, it might be better if we like took it down off its pedestal and allowed it to trade like strengths and weaknesses in comparison with other shows, because it does so uniquely have its own. Like, so much of it plays as like proof of concept. So much of it is like, hey, like, bringing these grand ideas to life. I might actually float that the character it got unbeatably right was Two-Face, by the by. That was hell of a two-parter, that one. But yeah, like it's a very grand evolution. It's it's such a piece of the building block there, and I think that there's just a lot to it that I think the compare and contrast could bring out. And if it is still your favorite, fine. But yeah, this is very like, I don't know, the look at it I feel has become almost too broad to properly savor what you're getting when you watch this thing. But yeah, that's about all I can think of that we've been up to.
Yeah. We also got a house.
Oh yeah, Day and I are buying a house. How about that?
Hey! Congratulations!
Oh, that moved fast.
Actually,
We mentioned
haven't
that last
secured
time you were
that.
searching. But...
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, we stumbled across a place that my dad, the career contractor, came by and was like, okay, you know what? Every single place you've showed me so far has cost more than this and has been worse. This one, you fix like 3 things and you're fine.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So, assuming they approve us and everything, we are in the green.
Woo. Oh, yay! That's awesome.
Like, what state is it going to be in?
Oh, we're not even moving that far. We're in the same city, just like a couple districts over.
Okay.
So that was a find. So yeah, we just still have to drive to New York if we want to see ya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still gotta drive to Ohio if it.
Closer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you got a point.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's so cool. Congratulations, you guys.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Well, who next wants to go in for updates?
Let's see. I guess I could.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go.
So, I guess aside from like the blue lock reaction, I've been like trying to like post videos of like my reactions to the new Pokemon Horizons anime. You know, the new generation for Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, with like how the story is like starting and such, it looks like it's actually gonna be storylines. Like evenly spaced out. Like the first 6 episodes have literally been 2-3-parters, basically airing weekly, and it's kind of maddening to see. It's like this isn't the original Pokemon anime anymore. They're doing something actually story driven now, of like focusing on a main character who's shy and reserved and just literally just trying to figure out stuff about themselves. But instead of it being as bad of a character as Chloe, is actually an engaging character in which we look inside of their mind and see what their thought processes are. So the new female main character is actually good.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you know someone else is writing for the female character, unlike what they did in Journeys. I'm saying it now, and I'm saying it again. Chloe was a disappointment. She should have been written better or not been focused at all. Instead of just being like another Eevee girl, because oh my god, that trope is dead. I am sick and tired of the Eevee girl. But then, for the new male main character, Roy, not many people online are very hyped about him, thinking he's gonna be a demi-Ash, like an Ash light, you know. But then when I watched episodes 4, 5, and 6 recently, what I got from him instead was a guy who's seeking to be an explorer, trying to learn lore of like a mysterious Pokeball that his grandfather found. So it's just basically what the original anime series was going to do with the GS ball. Only the fact is we actually get to see what's inside of the GS ball as of episode 6. And now Roy's journey is just literally just trying to get that Pokemon back into that said Pokeball.
Mm-hmm.
And also that his first friend that is getting along with him on the journey is literally the best dang starter of the entire franchise. That's right, Frank Coco. And oh my God, they did Frank Coco justice in this anime. Let me explain to you the 6 reasons why Frank Coco is legitimately the best starter Pokemon in all of the Pokemon animes and why you should support him and all of his rights going forth. 1. Frank Coco has a mentorship with Freed's Charizard, aka he literally looks up to the #1 OG best boy. 2. Frank Coco likes to sing privately and is bashful whenever anyone else hears him. 3. Frank Coco really likes to scamper around and eat food even if he does not know where it comes from, causing a lot of shenanigans and mischief. 4.
Shenanigans.
Frank Coco seeks to actually become stronger, so he literally has the same mindset as Iris's Axew. So there is a chance we might be able to see endgame Skeledirge in this anime. Point number 5. The moment that like Roy and Frank Coco bond together and actually be able for Frank Coco to actually use a fire type move is when he does We Are the Champions theme, but in using Frank Coco's cry. So legitimately, he's an entire music reference to one of the best dang songs in modern media. And point number 6. Frank Coco likes to nap anywhere and everywhere. So this is my TED Talk on why Frank Coco is the best starter and why you should watch Pokemon Horizons. Because gosh dang it legitimately took
Frank
my
Coco, why are you
interest.
napping on the edge of a cliff?
Don't say that. He already fell into the water once already.
So it's already happened.
It already happened already.
Well,
Was there ever
right?
one? Was there ever one where he woke up and he's like, "Wah!" and he fell into the water, and they're like, "What happened? Oh, I didn't know that was a cliff. I got lost in a cloud."
Yeah, basically getting lost like in an island, basically.
Oh
Just
wow!
wandering around and such. But yeah, like it's legitimately one of the most cutest things possible. And then there was this moment in which he was tearing up, and I'm like, whoever animated this, I want to stab you. But why would you show me upsetness like this? No more. No more sad.
It got you in the feels. It got you in the feels, didn't it, Gator?
It hurts. It hurt a lot. Just saying. The pain of hitting your own hand does not compare to the amount of emotional pain I felt for that little guy. Yeah. All in all, like, I was interested about the series before in the first 3 episodes, including the whole kidnapping plot. But then 4 to 6 basically was like, I'm literally now chanting Frank Coco's Japanese cries now.
What?
That is how much this has affected me. Because he sings those cries. He sings them.
He sings them?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Ho, 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 ke, ke, ho, ke, ho, ke, ho, ke, ke, ho, 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 ke, ke, ho, ke, da.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Huh.
Yeah, it is that good.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like oh yeah, and also continuing on with stuff, I'm gonna be like I've been like watching like Death Mount Death Play, one of the recent anime for like this anime season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe I mentioned it to anyone before about this one. But this anime is different from any other anime in the fact that it doesn't feel like an actual isekai, like written by some writer that you don't know of, because it's literally worked by the same guy who does Bakuno and Durarara. So actual talent for this anime season, and it feels like one of those shows. So it's like, well, looks like we finally got back to the early 2000s or late 2000s with with like this anime here. Thank
Oh,
God.
Oh wow. So like good quality, eh?
Oh, absolutely. It's just the whole idea of like, what if a necromancer stuck himself into like a dead body in modern Japan?
Whoa, that's interesting.
Oh yeah. And all the implications that entails.
Interesting.
Yeah, including like an eclectic assortment of crazy troublemaking like criminals
Well,
that
who
have
wouldn't?
all psychotic abilities. And the only person that actually has magical powers is said necromancer.
Hey.
How about that?
Oh yeah. It's a pretty great show, especially when it comes to the fact that the necromancer is legitimately one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. And it's weird to say that about a necromancer, but it's the truth.
Now that's a spin on it, making the necromancer a nice guy.
Yeah, he's just basically just like, you know, I'm 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 just chill and such, but if you ever do something to the children, I will make your life into a thing wanting death, and I'm never gonna give you release.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now you got me intrigued.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah.
What's
Oh,
it
and I
called
forgot.
again?
Oh, Death Mount Death Play.
Death Mound
Mm.
Death Play?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I will
Yeah,
have to check that out.
mm-hmm. It's like super cool, and it even comes with like a floating shark puppet that's possessed by a ghost.
Okay, I'm even more intrigued now. Just the randomness of it all. I'm more intrigued now. Time to go find it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and also for like Memorial Day coming up,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be like participating in a team Vanguard tournament
Nice.
with like a good friend of mine from like the Vanguard Zero team, Quatre Knights.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. And which like his friend who's also gonna be our teammate is gonna lend me a Chronojet deck, which is literally one of like the most broken starter decks you can have for like the current meta right now.
Uh-huh.
So it's gonna let me pilot that, so we have like an actual meta pick, so that I will be able to crush like my opponents
Uh-huh.
while they try to crush their opponents. And if all of us win our matches, possibly like multiple times, we might be able to get like top billing and get free playmats as a result of it,
Hey.
and get our pictures up like on the net and such.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck with that.
Well, yeah, I'm just currently right now play testing like a Chronojet deck, the Chronojet deck right now, like on a like an unofficial online simulator,
Nice.
just so I'm ready for it when I actually get the deck when I go over to play in the tournament.
Okay,
Because I
cool.
don't actually have the deck physically. I'll just be lended the deck
Ah, gotcha.
when the day comes. And I'll even show footage. I'll even show footage to you guys.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like that's like my current plans right now.
Woo.
Ah, cool.
All right. What else we got?
Ninja.
I guess I got a little bit of me. Mine'll be easy.
Oh, yours. Yes.
Mine'll be easy. I've just been doing nothing but trying to be a functional adult, as in learn,
Wow. Nice.
as in functional adultly learn the ins and outs of running a home or
Yay.
maintaining it. Like I've been helping my mom. I've been helping my mom around the house a lot. So peak just concluded at work. So now I'm like, I enjoyed a few days of rest. So now it's like, okay, next project. Now we get the backyard ready for summer and such. So never have I developed a hatred for weeds as I have this year.
Mm-hmm.
And while it can be fun, like I spent a couple of days ago, I spent nearly a few hours like just cutting down like overgrown weeds. Yeah, I know. Compared to compared to you guys' James Bond marathon and Gator's game shenanigans, mine's probably the most boring out of everybody.
That's where we're gonna be soon.
Wait, what do you mean by?
Where are the snakes? Just kidding. But other than that, it's important. It's important. You know, I'm just helping my mom around the house to make sure she doesn't do too much. You know.
I mean, I get it with like aging and such. I mean, I also have to take care for my own mom. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
No, but the good part is we don't have to worry about the pool being looking like a swamp this year.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
That's the best part.
I gotcha. I mean, oh yeah. I've also like also recently for me, I actually started getting onto a bike actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like what kind of bike?
You know, like something like a bit of like a mountain bike.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, like I never really rode a bike before.
Mhm.
Like only really like once,
Oh.
like a few times, like on training wheels when I was 5.
Wow. Okay.
Dang.
Well,
Yeah,
that's good for you.
Yes.
yeah. Sort of kind of hoping for it to like actually spring out into like
Yeah.
me possibly using it for like the sake of like trying to be like a delivery guy for a bit. But
Oh, I
even
see.
then, there's like I've noticed there's a lot of people with motorized bikes using them for deliveries, and I'm like, yeah, that would be the advantage of those sorts of things because hills is really a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would need
Though
to be
there's
like a
not too many
climber.
hills though in Manhattan though, is there? Or...
It's very mountainous. Yeah, like because like there's like a steep cliff like in my neighborhood, which
Yeah, it'd be neat.
it's very troublesome to get up to like certain avenues, you know.
I would imagine. I would think like if you're doing deliveries, I think a motorized bike would be faster because the thing is with a manual bike, fantastic exercise, but your legs will be on fire.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that would really be the bother there.
Or
But
the other thing with motorized bikes is one, I believe you have to get. I don't know if it's the same, but I know with motorcycles you have to have a license for it. So would you be getting like an actual motorcycle or like a scooter or something?
I think you're just talking
Oh,
about like a bike that's like electric,
Oh,
like
Yeah.
added to it.
yeah.
Motorcycles, I think they're increasingly at the point where if you're driving them, it's for thrill seeking.
Well, yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
Electric things, they are coming to prominence. Like, I've seen them be a good solution for a few people. And my former manager, who, was like a kid with maybe the slightest bit of nepotism, but he was cool the same. He, well, except for this, because he was going on about how his bus lines were getting matched up. He's like, I don't have a license. I'm gonna get to work. Electric scooter. And he starts throwing like everything he can think of at me. Why that's not the answer. What about traffic? What about rain? Wear a raincoat. Go use back roads. I mean, you're talking about bus lines and stuff that this is still gonna beat no matter how long it actually takes time wise. And finally, after like not getting anywhere, he just says, well, just no. So yeah, some people don't like to change. What can I say?
Oh, very, very true. I have to agree. Or they just scared.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's
that's
one thing
sick.
is like, it's funny how fast though those electric scooters have spread. It was like, oh, this is a new hip thing, and now they're becoming a public menace.
Public
Shit.
menace to
Just,
society.
just because like
Are
everyone
they, though?
just
Like, considering how many people cars kill every year, I'm like, I mean, yeah, is it better or worse if people get bothered by a scooter?
No, I think the main thing is they just litter them about, which is like the simple solution is just have dedicated have to drop off locations.
They what about?
Oh,
They
people just
leave
leave
them
like
anywhere?
there's like the rental scooters that you just like walk up and like you have an app and then like you have a rent thing and just start driving off with it.
Mm-hmm.
But those, like in cities now, they'll just be all over. It's like the first time I actually seen that like as an issue was in like Baltimore when we went, like the last BronyCon. Um,
Really?
but like now it's sort of, I know it's spread the Cincinnati area too, and the other cities are passing ordinances sort of like make them illegal in the main city.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they literally just get left around.
Yeah, I mean, people being lame, like, people would do that with cars if they could too. Boy, next thing you know, if this keeps up, we're gonna have scooter parking lots. There you go. Just put it there.
I mean,
Hello?
Oh yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I was wondering if like what happened there.
It just went silent for a second. Like, did this cut out?
Okay.
sorry. I think I accidentally like muted myself or muted the chat, and it actually affected everyone. That's weird. Yeah, even though I wasn't the one hosting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess we were in the middle of like discussing about what specifically.
Oh, you're just going over what anime you were watching.
Oh, the anime.
Yeah, then like you mentioned, like you're looking to like learn to ride a bike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Possibly using it as jobs.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, like another anime I was watching is Sacrificial Princess and King of Beasts, which feels like my replacement for uh basically for like the Tale of Outcast from last season. And I'm like, oh my god, my furry loving heart is eating tonight. That's really like a nice little romantic drama. Hear about like a nice little girl who's like literally felt like worthless, basically about like her place in the world, even though she's very strong-willed and such. Like starting to recognize feelings for like the king that's like decided to like keep her alive and asked her to become his queen, basically. It's just like, oh god, it's so cute. It's like, yes, please. Like, even though like the ending is like hinting at like, they'll both be human at the end, and it's like, no, don't do this to me. Don't do this. No, why can't we just have like something different? Why can't we just go all Shrek here? But no, it has to be all normal and such. And that's just all I'm saying. That's just all I'm saying. It's like there's certain times in which I wish certain films or certain properties are like, hey, let's take like the different direction than like the usual direction that fairy tales do, you know? It's just stuff like that I want to see more. So it's like a lot more interesting and such, not just be box standard, ordinary ways to end the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess aside from that, the new shonen anime for the season, Mashal, Muscles and Magic, has been turning out to be quite an effective gut punch in the form of like people who want One Punch Man with a bit of like Black Clover into it, with like basically having like a guy with no magic, basically trying winging it at like Hogwarts, basically, and faking it until he makes it with nothing but like his like strong drive in order to try to become the Wizard King, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely hilarious. Like Mashal, like I feel like he's like Mob from Mob Psycho 100. except for the fact he holds one single belief from Kazuma from Konosuba. He believes
I
in
gotta
gender
go, you
equality.
guys.
Bye,
All right,
bye,
Daylover
Day.
stepping out.
Goodbye, Day.
Have a good night.
Bye bye.
They say
Good
goodbye.
night.
Good night.
Night night.
Night, night. So yeah, like the thing
Nice
was
day.
with like Mashal was like there's these bunch of bullies from like basically the Slytherin group in the school that was basically trying to physically assault like a guy he was with in order to try to get his money from him. And basically after willing to take multiple punches from like said bully, went on to do just only 2 punches out of 10 to the bully, and he's nearly about to like pass out or like start hyperventilating from like the brute hits. And he's about to say, "You want to go for another 8, just like you did to me?" Like, no, I'm going to die. And then there's also was a girl here who was pretending to be someone who was falling in love with the guy person who was hanging out with Mashal. He's trying to pull like a charm spell on him and her womanly wilds in order to try to get him to be lenient with him. And so Mashal decides to hug her, only to German suplex her. And I'm like, oh yeah, take that, no restraint, man, no restraint. I'm just like, he does not care. He did not care. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. He will do the justice given to you for doing so much Turkish things, so much asshole-ish things, you know? Like, seriously. Like, that is just like the moment of like pure comedy because it's like, oh man, this is a really good comedy romp. Like, and apparently it's it's a really good comedy series about about wizarding tropes, you know?
Nice.
Yeah. Like
But
mhm.
speaking of like One Punch Man, actually, it's one of the anime. I've been catching up with some anime. Like I'm getting ready to finish the second season. Like let me see. Don't tease me. Let's see. So I'm gonna make. Don't toy. I'm getting finished catching up with other new, previous anime that aired to season 2's like Don't Toy with Me, Miss Nagatoro. And let me see some other recent ones I've done. But one of the newer ones I've seen, which was a Netflix's new big anime, which was My Uncle from Another World, which has extreme One Punch Man vibes.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Isekai Oji-san, yes. That one, even though it got delayed quite a bit, and its new company that it was running literally had to deal with massive delays for it because of COVID affecting their staff twice. That's right, twice in the span of its production. Still came.
Yeah,
Hello?
he might have muted himself again or something.
That Gator.
Yes,
Really?
that's me. Yeah, that's me.
But
It
yeah, to
returns.
summarize, like my
Uncle.
let me see, my uncle from another world. It's basically an isekai where like a guy's uncle wakes up from a coma that he's been in for like 17 years, I think.
Exactly 17.
Yeah, I got that number. I'm glad I got that right. But he basically got don't know if they say he got hit by a car, I forget whatever it was.
No. He
Killed.
was hit by a truck and landed in a coma.
Yeah, but yeah, he was hit by a truck and like I don't remember the other one I was going to mention. But yeah, he wakes up and then like his nephew's about to give him paperwork, basically have his family disown him because it's caused a lot of trouble. And then like his uncle showed magic, and he's like, "Oh crud, you're actually not talking gibberish."
Uh-huh.
So the whole basically series is basically his uncle reflecting and like showing stories that happened in his past life or his isekai life, and like his uncle is like a well-meaning person, but like he's like an how is it, you know the
Like like a dunce, like basically like oblivious as all belief.
yeah, he's a hardcore Sega fanboy, and like he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the Sega's new console." Like
Oh
he's
yeah, like the time that he literally got like completely isekai'd was literally around the point of like Sonic 3 because he was there for Sonic 2, like as like the first big memory of him, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry for your loss, man. He wasn't
so yeah,
there.
he. So the whole joke is him just sort of like adjusting, but like he's just basically reflecting, and he's just completely and utterly like um
Like oblivious
I
or
won't say oblivious, but like he's like he completely
ignorant.
thinks in his own way, and like he's like stupid, but like a not like, but just sort of like parallel thinking. Like he has his own logic, and he basically just makes things worse, but also fixes things with it.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, there is another thing, like in which like in the isekai story, it's like there's like the common tropes of like tsunderes and such. Yeah, he went to the other world before 2004, so he did not know those types of anime girls existed and that they would actually be into him. And that is the biggest running joke with him. Like,
yeah, like he's completely like oblivious to like romantic advantages of her, and it's like I said, but like it's just basically Hikikomori, like his appearance is like he looks like some hentai stereotypes. Like I think it's like the ugly man stereotype or something like that.
yeah.
I think this is brought up in several anime reviews of like jokes, but like he's sort of just like, he just looks like he just looks like just like even in the universe, like his joke, like he keeps getting called a speaking orc in the other world because of his appearance. Um uh but yeah, he's like this oblivious like Hikikomori, like the Sega fanboy, and he also has like ridiculous powers. So it's like this him that's living in this other world, like he's completely overpowered in the same way. Like that's why I brought the One Punch Man thing. Like most battles are either like he does something stupid and just sort of gets arrested is like instantly, or like he's just instantly overpowers everything with his power. Um, So yeah, it's a weird series to describe. Like it is very much like a sort of slice of life, like with an overpowered protagonist sort of series, where it's just like where there's a lot of big fantasy stuff happening in the background, but at the same time, like the main characters are just sort of like slice of lifing it up in their present. Like the whole thing like they try to use is like this uncle has his powers, and they're trying to just their first idea is like, oh, let's make a YouTube channel with this. Um, I'm not
Yeah.
joking. They straight up make a YouTube channel.
Yes, and it's actually what they're actually doing in the current modern world right now. So it's just like, yeah, have an anime in which the most relatable stuff for like us content creators is just seeing a guy try to be a content creator with actual magic.
Oh yeah. I also will say something,
Mhm.
Carlos. I have to dig it out with some of my stuff. I think I still have it, but I have that phone his uncle has.
Oh my god, you need to showcase that in a video. Just be like, I have the phone of Isekai Oji-san. And get all the clicks, man. You gotta do it for views. Uh, it's
But yeah,
funny
like
because
to give you a
the
reference, like
actor
yeah, he's like now he's in a modern world, like you need a phone, so but he doesn't really like smartphones because he just came from that era. So, but he picks up like an old like swinging like switchblade style like Sony phone, like the one like that opens from like going to the side. And it's like you can't even connect it to a current cell network. It's like I don't care, I just use it just to take photos and all that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead, we just
Also, like,
communicate with smoke signals.
oh yeah, there's also odd things where like a childhood friend of like the nephew comes onto the scene. In which case, like any sort of ideas of like advances towards the nephew, and it's just like the nephew absorbs some of the obliviousness of the uncle.
Oh yeah, that's
At
my
this
joke is
point.
like that the men in that family line are denser than uranium.
Oh god, yes. Any idea of like romantic advance is not going to be seen like that to them.
No, actually no, be specific. They're denser than uranium with any advance on themselves. They can pick it up with other people like immediately. It's just with themselves that they're completely oblivious.
Yeah.
Uh,
hmm Yeah, and like there was
no,
some weird things going on in the modern world too. Like I don't know, some sort of like weird raptor thing in the middle of the season.
yeah, I don't want to go to that one, but yeah, they're just like a very random series. I'll show a trailer for it just so because I'm not really describing it well, but like it's a very much
Yeah.
like a One Punch Man style where it's like overpowered fantasy sort of setting, but like a lot of the core things is more slice of life and just people dealing with that.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, like definitely like check this out if you haven't on Netflix.
but I guess any other final things we got before we start heading out? Because yeah, it's 11 on this side.
I can't think of
Um,
anything.
yeah, I
Did
Yeah.
guess
we
on
do
the
our news
analyst,
stories already?
yeah, like I said, there wasn't much news, just update stuff. Like
Yeah.
Disney
DeSantis is
lost
getting
all
his ass
ground.
kicked in a lot of Disney lawsuits and attempts to do this and that, and I'm happy
Well,
there,
then
but
Disney's doing. Well, then Disney's doing bad too. They're being counter-sued by him, but also sued right now by
first they
investor
outsmarted him with that
shareholders.
legislation he tried to print, and then what was that thing he tried to do that like the suing and the counter suing that still doesn't look good for him, but they are doing badly
Yeah,
for the unrelated stuff where they lost the rights to that one sport that's really popular in where was it that cut a bunch of them um
Hmm.
what was it I have to type it in Disney
but yeah, like I said,
Disney
it's just like a lot of
plus
counter-suing and all that. It's like it's the same with the Activision Blizzard stuff, where it's like there's so much just backed up legal stuff that's you can't really say
Hmm.
anything right now. It's just like it's ongoing. Um,
Right.
and
I
then the
mean
other big news.
like the DeSantis part I think like if you're him, you're not happy about how any of this has gone so far. So I am happy. But yeah, if you're Disney, I mean, you definitely have a lot on your mind. Okay, 4 million subscribers in Indian market because they lost the rights to cricket, I think it was the sport or whatnot. Like, yeah, they lost the main thing India was the rights. Main thing India was coming to them for. So that went up in smoke,
Cricket?
and now I guess they're rethinking what they're gonna do, and maybe even borrowing from Warner Brothers' current strategy of deep sixing projects for tax write-offs, which does not make me very optimistic about how much I'm gonna like their new turn. But I mean, they're Disney. It's hard to bet against them anytime soon.
But yeah, like I said, there's just that ongoing. It's really there's easy to say like what's going on. There's just like basically update every week. The same with Activision Blizzard. Like they got blocked in the UK. Now that just this today, like the EU approved the merger. It's still being disputed by the FTC. So it's like, yeah, ongoing issues, stuff like that. And then the other, I guess, big news thing, which actually sort of ties in my other game I've been up to is, well, I've not been up to, but yeah, like the new Breath of the Wild sequel has just dropped and everyone's going crazy over it.
Yep.
And I'm here playing the DLC for Xenoblade 3 instead.
Mhm.
Well, don't feel bad. I haven't played Breath of the Wild yet, and I need to.
Yeah,
And all my
I don't
friends
want to say
are yelling at me for it.
I don't want to
Well,
really offer judgment because I haven't really invested much in a sequel. But like I feel the first one was good, but like a very overrated sort of game.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, with like it being like the premier Switch game.
Yeah.
But because it's a fun game, like, but like, yeah, and I feel that's sort of like that sort of deflated my hype for the sequels. Like, I just feel it's being overinflated in importance. That again, guarantee it'd be good, and I'll probably play at some point. But yeah, I probably won't. Like I said, I'm finishing up Xenoblade the DLC, which is probably going to be like a 20-hour, 25-hour game when that's done. And then after that, I'll probably play something quicker and shorter like Doom Eternal. And that's just to basically hold me over until Final Fantasy 16 comes out next month.
Ah, good plan.
I want to try to get playing more games, but all the games I end up playing recently are freaking JRPGs or RPGs. And it's just like, why do I keep doing this to myself?
Because it's an extensive genre, aka black hole.
But yeah, like we were talking about this earlier before the video recording. But yeah, Jen, it's sort of hard to recommend Xenoblade because you sort of do have to invest in it. But
Yeah,
but you do have a Switch though now, right?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that means that is. It's more approachable to just go into series there because like they have the Monolith Soft, which is Nintendo Studio, on top of being the people who actually built the open world for Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2 as like a subcontractor for another team, but they're the one that actually built the like environment. They also throughout the Switch generation released Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2's like Torna DLC, which is basically a spin-off game onto itself, like Miles Morales from Spider-Man. It's that size of a game. Then they reached a remake of Xenoblade 1 on the Switch, and then extra DLC on top of that for that. And then they also just released last year Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and now they just released a DLC, which is again like a 20-hour game unto itself. So they've been quite busy this generation.
No doubt, no doubt.
But yeah, like I said, it's easy to approach, especially the first one, because like when the remake, if you do want to go for the first one going forward, but you sort of don't need to, you can really jump into one or two equally because they're connected but not connected, sort of thing. So it's really whatever if you wanted to look into them, whichever one. But like I was saying, one's more approachable now because they did just remake that on the Switch, so they actually modernized it, and made it less frustrating.
Right.
So I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's more approachable than ever. But yeah, I'm ranting because I'm a little tired right now. That's why I'm just sort of going off in random tangent. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, like playing that, like watching everyone go crazy over the new Breath of the Wild sequel, which as part of it just feels weird that's just finally out after being like teased like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Day just called to me to ask you this, Jen, if you got your Switch working.
Oh, not yet. Not yet. Sorry, I've been busy. I've been busy, but I'm slowly, but not yet. But I will let her know as soon as I do.
Oh yeah, I guess
to play
the
some
other
Animal
big
Crossing
news,
with you.
Yes, absolutely. I got to get on that.
Yeah, but I guess the other big news is sort of cover, which is sort of more getting ongoing news. But yeah, the writer strike V2 is ongoing right now. So
Yep. Again.
Yep.
Seems like once again.
Writers strike just for the sake of like actually getting proper increases to their budgets. It's just really is a thing.
Which I sort of have mixed feelings about the writer strike. On the one hand, I do feel like, yeah, we need writer, especially the protections they want against AI writing, and like assistance, which like that's a topic unto itself, like the AI art fiasco stuff, which is honestly like everyone's getting laughed at. I was like, oh, let me write scripts and let me write like a story, and it's like, dude, ChatGPT, and honestly, I'm looking at it as like this is freaking terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I can't keep thinking of like that one quote from like Jurassic Park. It's like, before you know what you've done with your father's gun, you're just charged shooting. It's like, yeah, that feels what's going on with like it's already become a toy, and like that's needs to be more, not just like because like not just like Terminator take over thing, but like this could really potentially destroy the U.S. job market in a way. And so yeah, that's why I say yeah. But yeah, like the writer's strike that's ongoing. I'm mixed feelings because like one, I sort of agree that they need better pay and all that, but at the same time, if you're from someone who's in the media like I was with my education with electronic media and broadcasting and all that, yeah, the Writers Guild is really, the Writers Guild of America is not interested in protecting writers, or interested in protecting guild members. It is a very big social club, and like it's one of those things like you're only let in more or less because someone else like gives you the footwork to get in.
Right.
Which once you're in, like it's very easy to get work because like it's the way it's set up essentially is like Hollywood studios, like TV, movies, and all that. They can't hire whoever they want to write a movie. However, like it's basically where they have to pay whoever they hire that to pay the same rate as Writers Guild. Right. But also there's other benefits where it essentially is like you can technically hire anyone, but it's just more beneficial financially and to go with Writers Guild members. So essentially you not blacklist, but like gray list everyone who's not a part of the Writers Guild. Same with acting.
Wow.
They want to pick each other's scams to line their pockets.
Wow.
But it's sort of like with the writers and actors, like the whole reason is like it's basically a gated community. It is, but bluntly, in Hollywood, if like it's a joke, like even your waiter's an actor, but there's truth to that. Where there are the amount of people who are not just willing to act or write for film and all that, but also the amount of people who are talented enough to do that is significantly more than the actual financially like supportive job opportunities. Yeah. So the whole guild thing is essentially that like we'll essentially limit the scope, so there are fewer opportunities for more, like basically those who are in the industry who are professional writers have enough jobs to be professional writers. Yeah. So it's not just like a freelance like smorgasbord. Which is also why like Funimation like very heavily shut down that one voice, the Mob Psycho voice actor who was like, let's just like sit down with the Actors Guild of America for this, and they were like fired.
Wow.
Yeah, because we're in Texas.
Exactly. LOL.
Texans.
Lol. It could be worse. You could be Florida.
Yeah, like literally is like part of the reason like Funimation has never even thought about moving their headquarters away from Texas, is because like Texas is the right to work state, so you can hire and fire whoever you want at will.
So,
And that's why
perfect
also a lot of
sense.
the Funimation / Crunchyroll staff is all located within like Texas. I think Austin. I forget which. Not Dallas. I think it is Austin.
Yeah.
I thought it was Flower Mound or something.
So,
I could have sworn I thought I heard Flower Mound mentioned at some point. Or am I nuts? Well, that's a dumb question. Of course I'm nuts.
I'm just sort of like wondering right now, have any of you guys heard anything about like the new Adult Swim cartoon right now?
No, I've heard.
No.
No, I haven't. I haven't paid attention to Adult Swim in forever.
Even
Same.
even if it's like the next Gendy Tartakovsky's cartoon,
Even it's the
Whoa.
what?
the next Gendy cartoon, you know?
Samurai Jack, writer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
What's it
see,
making
I haven't
now?
seen. See, I haven't watched Samurai Jack, so I need to.
No.
I need to do so.
Oh yeah, you would need to do that. Oh my
I
god,
know.
it's
Yes.
Unicorn Warriors Internal.
Jenny,
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I actually have seen stuff on Facebook about that. I was wondering, like, oh, that would explain all the hype it's given. It's from him.
Yeah, and right now from like the first 3 episodes, it's like already having like a conflicting plot of like duty versus inheriting duty versus like trying to live like your own life in like in the present, you know?
Right.
That's literally
Alright.
like the big conflict here, and I'm like, I'm sold on this, and you did it so easily. Like you make me hate the idea of inheriting a duty from like your past life and having it mess up your current life massively to the point of like you can't even do anything about it anymore. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my
Mm.
god.
I will say, where he's concerned, like he can make some really like innovative and even really good stuff. Like yeah, well, loved Samurai Jack. Like I was pretty into it for a bit when it first came out, and I loved how he ended it. But I mean, like he's not a writer or a creator that I hang on like everything he makes. Like if somebody says, "Oh, this one is really great, you should definitely check it out," then sure. But like even avoiding the in-between projects he does to stay employed and all that, generate the money for his other projects like Hotel Transylvania and whatnot. I mean, there's a point like
I
it's
really
not
like.
nothing. I don't think it's you really like.
I was saying I'm really sad that his Popeye thing didn't go forward.
I don't. Well, even that, like having seen that, as much good as there was in it, like I mean, he has that cringy beat where they've like the movie has been going on of like, yeah, you are not what you are stereotyped into being. You are not what you are stereotyped that you do not have to and then something goes wrong, so Popeye has to do the third act fallout. No, you are olive oil, the rich girl, and that is all you will ever be. Yuck, 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 yuck. Like, stuff like that is just super basic and cringe writing.
Second, you just turned into the bat. You just turned into Batman for a second there. That was the base.
Oh, it's what I do.
Just,
what can I say?
You just turned into Batman right there. I was like, whoa.
Right. But yeah, like Samurai Jack 2, for example, I actually willingly checked out of that for the last couple of seasons because it became, even to a kid, very clear that it was going to keep Deus Ex Machina-ing its way out of solving the problem, not telling the story like he gets closer or he, some days that's just, well, I mean, it had stories where the end goal wasn't the portal, but it like pointedly had these almost derp-de-dur endings time and again of, he can't get back to the past this time, so it's like, okay, that's not going to happen. It keeps playing it like we're supposed to be on an arc towards that happening when that's clearly not what this is. So
Yeah,
I mean, he's not like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like his animation, he does things with it that no one else even like thinks to do. But like as far as, I mean, there's a reason that I guess Avatar went on to become the show that all the mature teenage cartoons, quote unquote, were trying to be, and not Samurai Jack. Like that had
and then later on it
storytelling
became
that was next
Gravity
level.
Falls. But then later on it became Gravity Falls for the 2010s.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like they all had a branch, like they're along the same sort of evolutionary branch on some level.
I mean, I get
But,
you on that.
Yeah, Gen D is more like, okay, here's how I can take, played out branches and bring like phenomenal animation to them, or like some just creative concept ideas to them, I guess.
So, I felt like for like his last series that he worked on, Primal, that was honestly like probably like a better example of like making like a long-term story, even with like incidental plots, like actually feel a lot more relevant than Samurai Jack was for Cartoon Network, because it actually just felt like a more expressive piece in the fact that it uses sound very selectively and use it to such a great effect that I feel like it outdoes Samurai Jack. Even with
What
like the last
outdoes
season.
Samurai Jack? Are you talking about Primal?
Yes.
You think it outdoes Samurai Jack?
I'm being dead serious about, because like what Second brings up here is an extremely valid point about Samurai Jack's follies. That part about like the
Well, I think
the whole
Primal
journey.
is more of the like this is his art piece that he was allowed to do. Or like that was sort of with like the reboot of like Samurai Jack, where like he was given more creative control, but like the Primal was like this is his. He had like full control throughout. Yeah.
Yeah, and that passion project definitely ended up with like something truly amazing. The fact that all of this was hinted all the way back in Dexter's lab.
Oh, you mean with the giant robot episodes and stuff?
No, I'm talking about the caveman episode.
I also didn't see him in didn't see Clone Wars, so okay, it could be that like I have inadvertently cherry picked examples, or it could be that he's leveled up as a storyteller, and great if he has. So
No, I mean
watch it and say that what I just said before was null and void if that's the case.
The 2D Clone Wars is definitely a big contributor to the fact of people having better expectations for what would happen in the third movie for Star Wars. That was the thing Gendy did when he did Clone Wars. He made people had hope for like one of the Sith generals, only for them to be disappointed with what actually ended up happening.
Oh, and yet the third one is still considered by far the best of the prequels.
Well, yeah, it's just that like no, it's just about like the character, the white guy with like the multiple arms, with like the multiple.
General Grievous.
Oh yeah, Grievous.
Yeah, Grievous like apparently was done extremely well in the 2D series.
Right.
Oh yeah, he definitely like he was them in Did we or talking about that cartoon? We're talking about the 2D Clone Wars cartoon, not the 3D one that came later.
No.
But like General Grievous was more or less the main villain of that.
Right.
And he and he was definitely the intimidating foe, and it's like the third movie just sort of doesn't do him justice, but
as someone who just saw the third movie first and still hasn't seen the show, I thought he was a cool character in that, like as a concept, like somebody for like Palpatine sort of play, like, okay, this is my guy, I have it front and center to make you look at this hand instead of this hand. Like he was pretty cool for what he was.
I guess, like,
we're just only saying like he's cooler in the 2D one. That's basically it.
Okay. I will say the novelization went more into like how he had the emotions hardwired out of him when he turned himself into like a blend of droid and human.
Right.
And, yeah, that like how he was real cold, and they had a scene with him in the book where like he's so blatantly seeing his crew as expendable, like he's telling them to do things that will doom their ship and all of them just to buy him a little more time, maybe give himself a little more breathing space. And when the like captain tries to point out that that's insane and that you're dooming everybody, he kills him with a single punch to the skull and promotes the guy sitting next to him to captain.
Sounds like what a Sith would do.
Yep.
I mean, if
So,
Vader can force choke, if Vader can force choke someone, I mean, Grievous punched someone, killed someone, so Vader could force choke one because he found his lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah, Vader doesn't even like choke some like one-off soldier either. Like he force chokes somebody important there.
Exactly. See? So Grievous punched so Vader could choke. There you go.
Yeah, classic stuff. And yeah, I mean, I don't know like if the show is like even more than that or something, but yeah, it's like the book, it's like it's just enough like how deep this guy's heartlessness really goes.
Right.
Well, I think the thing with Jin, I cannot pronounce his name, but
which one?
I think the big thing is he's a very classic cartoonist, where like he is more of a storyboard.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he is much more of a storyboard like artist than a script artist. So I feel this sort of shows like a lot of his storytelling is more visual and all that than like a very scripted story, and I felt like you can sort of feel that like all of his works.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fair, yeah.
Because there are pros and cons of like of being a more of a storyboard artist. Like a lot of shows are that, but like generally it just means like the script is less tight, but it visually usually like is a lot better done. Sort of as that, because like that's sort of like the visuals of the animation is supposed to be the main storyteller, not the dialogue.
Right.
He is like one of the most like clear examples of like that kind of writer. But with that said, I guess we need to be wrapping up.
Yeah. It is 11:38. It is 11:30. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I guess all in all, like some good shows have been going around. Some interesting plans for most of us are about to be popping off.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if nothing else, I guess we're all just be going our separate ways for like our videos right now. So
I think right now we're just sort of trying to figure out our thing with videos, because like a lot of us who did videos were sort of tied to the Brony video community of some sort, and then that's community is sort of like withered out.
It's
sort of yeah, you're right, sort of kind of. It's just I think everybody just went there, just kind of moved on and just found new interests. There are very few left in that still, I guess completely are just on MLP or maybe they're MLP, but they also have other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike everybody here, I never made videos. Nope.
No, you've just been contributing to one of the bigger fan projects that still runs past the Friendship is Magic timeline.
What's that again?
You're part of like the big fan project that still continues on past.
Oh, right. That's really the only thing, that's
you're a voice actor on something big too, huh?
well, I would hope that a project like this turns into something big because of just the quality of itself. It's bigger. It's way bigger than just little old me here, but just the project in itself. I hope it gets, I hope it gets like more recognition and gets, just gets big, because it's if you check out Elements of Justice, it's got a pretty good following, and it's got a pretty good following and everything, and I just hope it just gets more and more and more and more and more bigger, because I believe in the project and just the quality of it, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for me, when I saw that April Fool's video today, I'm like, if the pony stuff doesn't work out too well, you could easily jump into the Mystery Dungeon fandom. I am just telling you, if they actually do the animations like that, yeah, you're gonna be able to match up with like Bowie Triage and be able to do the Mystery Dungeon content so much easier, and you'll be able to get an audience super quick.
Hey, who knows?
I am just saying.
Hey, I understand. I understand and hey, who knows? But then Elements of Justice is only just one. It's technically my first ever real role, honestly, and so it will automatically hold a place in my heart as I look at my Luna plushie over here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, it'll already. I can already tell you, no matter what happens, it'll hold a place in my heart. That's for sure. Right. But that's just that's just step one. That's just step one. I'm just working on the next step. So who knows?
What'd you say it was called?
Elements of Justice. It's pretty much like do you know what the crossover they did with with Phoenix, with that the MLP did with the fandom MLP did with Ace Attorney.
Ace Attorney.
Yeah, and then there was Turnabout Storm. Yeah, and then there was Turnabout Storm, and now now Elements of Justice is now a spinoff of I believe it's Turnabout Storm.
Cool. Boy.
But yeah,
if people admire your.
Go ahead.
I was just like, yeah, people admiring your voice acting projects can feel pretty huge. Like I really still come back every so often, just having been part of the Warrior Cats fan film that got a whole ton of views. I'm like, boy, yep.
Oh yeah, but I definitely recommend
this guy. You'll never know behind that one character.
Yeah. But I recommend it. I recommend it to you guys. Check out all Elements of Justice, and it's like I said, it's really, it's just really just an amazing watch. If you've got a couple of hours free, check it out.
Awesome.
How we get on that subject? I don't know how we got on that subject, but
I
also just to be clear. Also, if you all need to be clear, if you heard snoring, it wasn't me; it was my cats in my lap. I don't know if that mic was picking it up or not.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, we could hear that. We could hear the little purr monster.
It's just like stuff like trying to figure out like your new niche, like on YouTube, after using like the fandom as a springboard to see what you're actually gonna make. Because I mean, I look over at my channel and I'm like, the only video of mine that literally had like over 1,000 hits right now is literally Brave the Animated Series episode 1 review, and I'm like, I don't really have much episodes to talk left. I literally would need to find something else to jump and review if I'm going to be able to get any sort of views,
Yeah, it's all about like making a pivot. It's all about, I guess, making a pivot, what they call a life pivot or a career pivot.
Yeah.
It's all about like, what's the thing? I think it's like a Friends quote or something when someone's yelling out, pivot, or something.
I gotcha.
But I guess with that said, see y'all next time.
See you next time. Good night.